Hello, here's interwebkaiju here, and this is Reptilicus. Reptilicus is a 1961 Danish movie about a serpent-like monster, and I'm reviewing the American version of the film. I've not seen the Danish version, but if you have, please leave a comment describing any noticeable differences between the two. Some miners dig up a piece of flesh and send it off to be studied, where it is mishandled and allowed to regenerate into a giant monster who, unsurprisingly, escapes to wreak havoc. The movie uses actual vehicles and tanks, and I'm not talking about stock footage that looks different than the film. New footage, or at least what could be, because it fits perfectly. Even the naval ships, which 90% of the time are awfully spliced into movies of this genre. Another common con for the genre is people lightly jogging away from monsters, and I'm very glad to say here it at least looks like the civilians are running, at least most of the time. The extras, man. Are they really jumping over the gap in the separating bridge? Are they really biking off the bridge? I love it. Look at this driving shot. I know it's not perfect, but for early 60s and in color, I'm actually kind of impressed. There's a nice twist in the normal how do we defeat the creature problem. Not only does Reptilicus have armored scales, but more importantly, he regenerates, so they can't just use the strongest weapons and blow him to pieces because he could possibly regenerate into many monsters. Reptilicus itself is fine. It doesn't look great, but I've certainly seen a lot worse. At the very least, I like his design, given wings and a slime projectile as to not just be a generic serpent. The internet says that the slime is just in the US cut, and exclusive to the Danish cut is the scene where Reptilicus flies. The slime is okay, I guess. I haven't seen the flying one, so I can't comment on that. Unfortunately, Reptilicus doesn't do a ton of on-screen damage to the miniature sets, and his little stationary feet do bother me. I'm not a fan of Peterson. He's just out of place, both for where he's at in the in-movie world, but also some of his scenes just seem so different in tone than the rest of the movie. I normally enjoy little musical segments in movies, but this one has no real point. I guess just to pad out the runtime. Nothing regarding the plot happens at any point of the performance, and the song isn't my cup of tea either. This and a lot of other choices the movie makes really ends up making the first part of the movie rather exhausting. The dub actors normally speak kind of slow, and that just makes the pacing seem even worse, which is sad because the main plot, while fairly standard, is completely fine. The characters, on the other hand, are boring. More newspaper headlines. If you're new to the channel, I just think these are ugly, unnecessary, and honestly kind of take you out of the movie most of the time. A few scenes look really blurry. This blue screen effect is very unbelievable. This is also off. I know I applauded the ships earlier, but there is this one scene that's understandably mismatched, but they could have at least tried to make it fit better. The story isn't very imaginative, but if you can make it through the first part and can get over how the monster looks, there's something to enjoy here. I'd recommend it for at least one viewing. Thanks for watching.
Laughter and light, come hold me tight. This is a place for romancing.
Then it was so dark I couldn't see my own face in front of me.
I wish I could be that lucky, Mr. Peterson.